guys, it's Johnny from T3TRA, and today we're doing a video on how to use parallel effects with guitar pedals. Now, parallel effects are kind of a studio technique, but with amp modelers they become more prevalent. But sometimes when I speak to pedal guys, they don't know how to do it, or they've never used it before. So I thought it'd be a helpful video to show how to do it with pedals. I certainly couldn't find much information online when I started doing it. And later I'll show one very inexpensive pedal which you can use to make it really easy. So if you go on any sort of pedal forum or Facebook group, you'll tend to see the same question quite often, which is what goes first, my delay or my reverb? So when you have a delay going into a reverb, the delay is going to be affected by the reverb, and all the repeats on the delay will have their own reverb tails. If you switch them around, then you'll have a washy reverb sound, which will then generate all sorts of crazy delays. And both of those will sound good for ambient sort of washes, but if you want something more precise sounding, parallel effects might be a better option for you. I've got some examples on the screen. This is just a clean guitar playing something very simple. And this is the same thing with just a really exaggerated delay with lots of very heavy mix on the repeats. And again, the same thing with like a long haul reverb. Both cool effects, but when you put them in series, which would be delay into reverb, now what you have there is you have an initial note and then delay repeats. Each of those repeats is getting their own reverb tail, which makes it a little bit more washier and a little bit muddier, which again would sound great for ambient applications, but when you want something a little crisper, you can try parallel. Okay, so what you're hearing there is the initial note with a reverb tail, and then the delays from that initial note are separate and they don't have their own reverb tail, so they're quite clear and distinct, so you can pick them out quite a lot easier. Okay, so that's fairly easy to do in software land or in an amp modeler, but it's not as easy to do it with a pedal. For instance, if you have an AB box, you could split the signal into a separate reverb and delay, but then they have to go maybe to separate amps, and that's been done for a long time. But this pedal, the Boss Line Selector 2, is a bit of a secret weapon. I use it all the time. Now, this can be used, and it's mostly used as a bit of an A-B switch, where you can put two different effects in its two sends, and then you can switch between them by hitting the stomp. But it also has one setting, which is the A and B mix into bypass. So when it's disengaged, it bypasses completely, but when it's engaged, it mixes whatever's in its A send and B send together, and you can adjust the level with these two knobs here. So I'm sending out to my delay out of send A and my reverb at send B, and they're not affecting each other, and I'm blending the two together with these two knobs here, and then this goes back into my effects return. So just to clarify how that works, here we've got a Boss Line Selector LS2, a Walrus Descent Reverb, and a Strymon Timeline Delay, which are my go-to delay and reverbs. Send A from the line selector goes to the input of the descent, and the output of the descent goes to the return of send A. Send B goes to the input of the timeline, and the output of the timeline goes back to the return of send B. And then the input and output of the line selector are the effects loop of my amp. If I want to adjust the blend, I use the green and red knobs on the LS2, but I tend to find that a nice 50-50 blend of both works really well for most things. So that's all there is to it. If you know of another pedal that does what the LS2 can do, please comment below and let me know what it is. As far as I know, the LS2 is the only one that can do the parallel effects thing without having to run stereo amps or anything like that. But it would be nice if there's a bit more variety than just the one pedal. You can get them second hand for about 70 to 80 pounds on eBay, so they're not going to break the bank, and they are a really great pedal. So have a look into it and see if it can improve your pedal signal flow by just running a few effects in parallel, and see what else you can come up with other than just reverb and delay. So that's the video. I'll finish with just a little bit of bad guitar playing just to show some parallel effects through my Kemper using the pedals, and see what you think of the sound. Cheers.